All right, greetings viewers. Thanks for joining me out in the shop today. Moving along with the Tacoma 3RZ to 5VZ swap. Relocate the motor mounts time. Going to clean up some more of this in here, knocking the dirt off. I'm going to take off this vacuum assembly and take it over and clean it because it got all cruddy from a previous oil leak. Got to delete this speedometer cable because I'm not going to need it anymore. Get this old power steering line out of the way. Make that look a little better down there perhaps. Now I understand moving these back 3/4 of an inch is the formula. I've heard reuse these, and I've heard that you need ones from a 3/4. Now I just happen to have a 3/4 block here ready to go for some mock-up. So I'm just going to find out for myself exactly what I need. Lift that up, set it down in there. I measured for my exhaust and fan and such, so I know how much room I need. And the exhaust should match up too. Now I don't have heads on that, but that's not important at the moment. So I'm going to grab me a 10mm, take a few things out of the way here and get started mocking this up because that other engine transmission's ready to go back in. Then it'll be wiring fun time. All right, well hopefully that'll get everything in the picture, including this. This is that's the bracket that holds the speedometer cable. Not going to need that anymore. Not going to need that piece of heat shielding there, but maybe. Going to probably have to pull that through from the other side because that's got some clips on it. I'll get that in a minute. Oh, that's a 12. Hang on just a second. Let me grab a 12. There's one on the back you're going to have to get from underneath. Woohoo! Fall on me. Ouch. That one right there. We can undo those two vacuum lines. One to the bottom. One to the top. Making it look easy from down here, aren't I? Let me grab a prying device out of my pocket here and see what I can come up with. There we go. All right, and they'll keep their shape and only go back where they'll go, like so many things. I am going to go ahead and put that fastener back in there while I'm down here. I'm also going to pull that speedometer cable on down just so it's out of the way for now. And I'll worry about its proper removal when I get back under here later. I'll write that on my list. I gotta undo that one. Well, that's fine either way, as long as it's out of there. You don't want any dirt or anything go down in there if you can help it. Up here on the wall, they're just held into clips that are on the, there, pulled that one clean off, but that's okay. And it clips on up there. And they just roll up here to your, these are your 4-wheel drive vacuum lines on the fender. Hang them out over here, want to clean them up. That's about it, I guess, for underneath of there. Do a little more cleaning before the actual engine goes in. I'm not going to take that line out right now, that power steering line out right now, because it's not in the way yet. It looks like plenty of room right there in the stock location for everything. I wonder why it says you got to move it back 3/4 of an inch. Mayhaps I should do some other measuring of other components. But they say the exhaust is almost in exactly the same place. It looks like you have to loosen it up and scooch it back. I took measurements on the frame, to the center, to the sway bar. The rack mounts a little bit differently, but the majority of all of this is in the same places. Looks like it does have to go backwards about 3/4 of an inch. If you're trying to follow along at home, the main things that I found are the same in my 3rd gen as they are in this Tacoma. Going off the firewall straight, there, you can see where I'm up against the firewall, right on the flat where the fan would hit. If you measure back to here, it's 14. Back to here, it's 17.5. Those measurements are the same on my 3rd gen 4Runner. If I have these holes here lined up, these bolt holes, even though they're not in the right height up and down, they are in line here. If this slid down, it'd bolt on. Okay. Measuring from that same spot on the firewall back, the beginning corner of this motor mount is 18 inches back. On the 3rd gen, it's 17.25 inches back on this. That's the same engine, that's the same basic frame and cradle and doghouse area. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to cut these stock ones off. Okay, double check, because I'm trying to go everything off of memory. Height from here up is the same. The height from here out appears to be the same. Definitely 3/4 back. So I'm going to scoot these straight 3/4 back. Say it really looks like it would work right here, but if it's 3/4 of an inch back, then that's what it needs to be. Slim's trying to get up here, take a measure for himself. Don't do it, Slim, it's dirty. I left that power steering line in because I didn't want to get crap knocked into the rack while I'm doing my ciphering and figuring here and pondering. Go ahead and cut those mounts out and move them back. Okay, we'll just do that now. All right, now these are held on with a weld across the top and over. A little bit down here and a little bit at the bottom. I brought a couple grinding tools and I'll see if I can't get those to give up. You want to be careful not to cut into your frame, so grind down. I definitely think a guard on a grinder is a dandy idea, and I should probably go get some gloves before I tackle that, but sometimes the shield just won't, or the guard just won't let you in there. But always got my eye protection on. Let's see what we can get here if this doesn't scare me. Well, that definitely seems to be doing the trick. That seems to be the right one for the job. That's why I say get you something to pry apart with. So as you get your cut started, you can kind of see where you're thin and where you're not. Again, you want to be careful, don't cut into your frame. Just cut down there. Now there's one on each side. That's going to be a little tougher to get. It is welded on the bottom, but I think if I get the 3 sides and smack it down, I can get it off there. That's yet to be seen. Okay, gonna try another tool with the guard off. When the guard's off, your guard should be on. I don't condone guard removal, and I don't know if this is really gonna help. I'm not gonna lie, this is nothing less than a major pain in the ass. But I about got it. I about got it whooped now. That sound convincing to you at all? Look at that. My golly, she's coming loose. Just a little bit more massaging. Okay, well, like I said, nothing less than a pain in the ass. Got to stand up in here, get that back one cut. That one wasn't too bad. This is definitely a good with the shield off, cut off wheel. The little cut off wheel with the shield off did part of it. The big fat grinder wheel, not much good. Sawzall come into play there. So, like I said, nothing less than a pain in the ass to get off. Now it is welded down here at the bottom. I'm leaning her back a bit and getting that Sawzall in there up against that edge and cutting that off. I'm gonna have to beat that back a little bit, but that won't be too bad. So this is clearly the easiest way to finish it, not bending it like I thought. Well, there you have it. It's off of there. Ready to move back. 3/4 of an inch roughly. I will grind all this off, but not until I take my measurement that I know where it needs to go. And then I will put this back on in the proper place, tack it, reset my engine, make sure everything is good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and get this one off of this side, and then I'm gonna call it a day, and I'll be back on this, but you won't even know I'm gone. All right, don't be mad. I lied to you. I didn't go away. It is the same day, and I just couldn't stop. Now, I got that one off a little better. I got a little impatient with this one. Just used the Sawzall most of it. I got some cleaning up there to do. I'm going to scooch them back and tack them in, so I'm going to do some grinding here. Don't forget to grind your spot for your new one to go, or for yours to go back in. Make your measurements 17 1/4 back to the front edge of it there. But then, yeah, so don't forget to measure that and clean you a good spot off. We are 18 to our edge, just like we're supposed to be. Yeah, so we moved them. Like I say, obviously the exhaust is going to need to be pushed back a little bit based on the motor I got sitting on the floor over there. Don't think I'm going to be able to put it all back in as one unit. Sometimes fabbing stuff is dirty work and not as much fun as other times. Moving some motor mounts didn't bring me a great deal of satisfaction, although it's the next step towards putting this V6 in where this 4-cylinder used to be, so I'm still excited about it. I'm going to wrap that up for this, how to move the motor mounts and get everything ready. When I come time to put the engine in, I will tell you everything else I had to do related to that, including moving that exhaust back some. I might just unbolt it for now. I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to drop it or not, but I'll let you know. Going to wrap this up today. Well, okay, sorry that I cheated you out of a whole bunch of that, but I again thought I was recording when I wasn't and thought I was paused when I wasn't, so I recorded a whole bunch of nothing. and didn't record the welding in. So I measured my measurement, 17 1/4 to the front. I scooched those back, tacked them in. I set the motor back down. My measurements lined up. Everything is the same as it is on the 3rd gen now. Really sorry I barked all that part of it up. But you've seen welding before. You've seen the removal and some grinding there. And I did test fit it and it was right. So everything else that I have to do, like moving the exhaust, changing the power steering line and stuff, you won't miss that. I'll practice. Holy cow. Say I'm surprised that I messed it up. I certainly do appreciate you tuning in and checking this out. So like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, check links and that kind of stuff. It's free, it's easy, and it's painless, and I would sure appreciate it. So thanks for joining me out in the shop for this bit today. Have a super great day.